The following show and its content are the responsibility of the show's producers and participants.
Information related in this program is not meant to substitute medical recommendations. Before starting a treatment program, you should consult your physician.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
That's right. Welcome to the Couch Live here on WPSN99.com, the Problem Solving Network. Hello, everybody. How are you? It's a beautiful Friday. The weather's finally enjoyable, or the weather's finally decent. Trinity's not going to complain too much of this weather.
It's getting hot now, man. It was great for like 3 days.
Oh, come on now.
It's 75 out today.
That's horrible.
Well, before you guys get all excited, let me
You're
introduce
always in a
everybody.
tank top, though.
He is. He really is. I am the street certified dope doctor, Lui Delgado, here with you. Hello, everybody. Like I said, and with me, of course, is the Dharma Guy, Dharma Time himself, Trinity Phillips. Hello, Trinity. Let me get the camera over there to you. There you are.
Hey, what is up?
And how are you, Trinity? You like this weather better, right?
No, not today's weather.
Wait, what do you mean?
The
No?
last like 3 days have been fantastic. Having said that, the thing I'm more concerned with at the moment, is everybody around me is sick, and I'm doing my best to not get sick.
That's why I stayed away from you on Tuesday.
You were sick.
Yeah.
My son had the flu last week. My wife has got the flu now. Apparently, our lovely guest host today was sick a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'm doing my best to fend it off as best as possible.
Hey, I'm good now, so don't you two get me sick.
Well, yeah, you're the one you're patient zero though.
Yeah, you're the one who gave it to him originally.
Yeah. So
don't blame it on me.
So anyway, let me introduce her as well. So that's Chris Lowe's voice that you hear. Hello, Chris. Chris was on our show. A couple weeks ago already?
Now,
Was it a couple weeks? Chris was on our show a couple of weeks ago. She came on talking about loss. She had lost her son to a suicide. We had her on with Susan. Susan was also a great guest on that one. But Chris had done some other things before as far as media related and sat in with us and did really well. We invited her back to sit in. If you've been a watcher of the Couch Live for a long time, you know that we tend to have a female on. Back in the days, we had Tinker Cooper. We've had
Denise
for a long time. And so now we're just giving Chris a tryout, a practice round. She may fail, might not ever see her again.
No pressure.
You know what?
But
it's okay to fail as long as you try again.
Did you know you were auditioning?
No, I didn't. With her. I'm just messing with her.
News.
So we have
I
Chris
was just
on.
hanging out drinking.
Yeah, you just have it. Well, where's the coffee, man?
She didn't bring one for the whole class.
Okay.
I got this in Orlando.
Okay, well, let me.
It would have been cold anyway.
She didn't bring enough for the whole class.
So, Chris Lowe, introduce yourself. There you go.
Hi, I'm Chris Lowe, as you said, and I live in Orlando. And as Louis said, I lost my son a year and a half ago to suicide. So now I speak out to high schools and middle schools and colleges, youth groups about suicide awareness, prevention, and about coping skills and social media and just everything that young people are dealing with. But then you see actually people our age are dealing with it too.
Yeah.
With the suicides that are happening, it's not just a certain age or whatever.
No.
So it's kind of now it's branched out to parents, and there's just such a need for it.
Yeah.
And as I've told you before, I wish I would have known you a couple years ago because just the knowledge that you guys have and the resources that it's something I really wish I would have had before. But luckily, I know you now, and hopefully all of us together can help a lot of people.
Right
That's
on.
the goal.
I appreciate that.
I like it.
No, and it's good having you, and thank you for coming in here. We got a lot of friends watching. If you're listening on WPSN99.com, you can also watch this live on Facebook Live, whether you follow me or follow Trinity. It doesn't matter which one you watch. If you watch Trinity's Facebook Live, you see him and Chris. If you watch my Facebook Live, you see me. I don't get offended if you watch that one. They're prettier.
Yeah, he does. Don't listen to him. He'll be crying about it later on.
No, I definitely will not. but the important thing is that the information gets out there. And, of course, all of these episodes that you see today, that you hear, listen to, see today, are all on our YouTube channel. You can go to youtube.com/thecouchlive, see old shows. You can watch the show that Chris and Susan were on a couple weeks ago. And, of course, subscribe to that, please. And feel free to share with friends, because you never know who you can help. You never know who you can, brighten their day a little bit, or maybe, put something in their head that's going to help them make a decision. And there's a lot of that going on. So, Trinity, let me get started.
Let's do it.
So, here I am sick, right?
Yes.
Avoiding as much as I can.
Thank you.
Well, avoiding people, avoiding whatever. But here's what I love about what we do, Chris and Trinity. Even though I was sick, I was still able to farm calls out that were coming in for help and help people get into treatment right now. Because a lot of things I can do, I can do short burst talking, and I can do a lot of texting. And, of course, what we do is connecting.
Yes.
So I connect with programs or the right resources for whatever someone was calling for. And by the way, the number to call is 833-NOW-MATTERS. That's 833-NOW-MATTERS. If you need any help, that's the Now Matters More Foundation. And so I was farming these phone calls and getting people into treatment. So, of course, today's the perfect day to then do the holiday show, which is, listen, if you're going to give a gift to somebody, some of you have created drama for a long time. You know it. You've just created drama. And I'm not talking about you sober people that are just dramatic and just annoying just because you are. I'm talking about you people out there that are used a little bit, and you tend to not show up on time. You tend to not show up at where you say you're going to be. And the last few Christmases or the last few holiday seasons have maybe not been the best. Your family hasn't gotten your best. And they're worried all Christmas. They're worried where you are. You're worried where you are, where you're going to be, where you're going to sleep. They're worried where you are, where you're going to be, where you're going to sleep. Are they going to bail you out this Christmas? Hopefully they don't receive that one phone call that so many people receive around this time of year. I know I've lost people around this time of year, people that I know, clients. So Christmas and New Year's to me is always kind of that scary time where I know I can get a bad phone call too, and I don't like it. But at the same time, it's a beautiful one because there's so many people that it's their first Christmas sober.
Yeah.
It's their first holiday sober, and it's exciting. I know you can be anxiety-ridden a little bit and worry, God, man, am I going to make it? Yeah, you're going to make it. You're going to do well. You're going to do just as good as you did, on October 3rd. You know what I mean? And it's all based on how you've planned and put this together. But I want to speak to those that kind of are using today or using around this time period. And you're wondering, I got no money. I can't give anybody anything. I just give my family a bunch of bad. Well, no, you can actually get clean and sober this holiday and actually give the best gift that your family could ever want, and actually get their son back, actually get their daughter back, actually get their loved one back, actually have you present in Christmas, or at least know that you're somewhere safe for Christmas, and not have to be worried about you this Christmas. So that's what we're talking about today on the Couch Live. So I'm going to farm it out to you guys a little bit and see, what did you guys think about when I said that this is the show that we're talking about today?
Well, being the fact that we've done this before, I kind of expected it, I guess. But, I think that's something that people underestimate. I think that in active use, I think you kind of, your world starts to get kind of small, and you're focused on what's right in front of your face.
Right.
And it's very, it's you don't remember that you have a whole slew of people that care about you, that worry about you on a daily basis. And as a parent myself, I couldn't imagine worrying about, my son or my daughter out there running the streets. Am I going to get that phone call?
Right.
I'm not the biggest Christmas guy anyways. But I think that if I was in that situation, the biggest Christmas gift I could get is peace of mind.
Right.
Forget a new knick-knack that's going to collect dust on my shelf somewhere, or something else that I didn't really need. All that stuff would be meaningless compared to the fact of, hey, my kid's getting clean.
For real.
Like that. I think that's something that I agree, man. People don't realize that's the biggest gift you can give.
Right.
Not to mention, as we've pointed out numerous times on the show, what a way to start the new year. You know what I mean? Like you're starting fresh. I mean, being the fact that I've been in the fitness world for so many years, everybody's always like, "Oh, you can't start any new routine until Monday." I can't start this until this day.
January.
Yeah, you got New Year's coming right up.
Yeah.
Start it. Start out
That's
the
it.
New Year completely clean.
Yeah.
So.
And the thing is, New Year's, it's like everyone thinks they have to get drunk on New Year's because that's
Right.
what you see people doing, like on social media. But but you would have so much more fun if you weren't.
Right.
There's nothing better than being the sober one and seeing all the other people act stupid, and you're like, "Hey, did I look like that last year?"
Right.
But the thing I'm noticing too is like everyone has an expectation for the holidays.
Yeah.
Right? And you also compare yourself to other people. So you see
Right.
people on social media like, well, look what they're doing for the holidays. Look at all these gifts and all these things that they're getting and doing, and I don't have the money or the resources or I'm not in that place.
Right.
And you think you have to give something, but like you said, the best gift you can give someone is to just be present. And if you showed up and said, look, guys, I don't have a gift in hand for you,
Right.
but here's the gift.
It's
I'm
me.
here, and
Yeah.
I'm clean,
Yeah.
and I'm sober, and I'm alive.
It's so
and
awesome.
everyone would much rather have you alive than any gift in the entire
course.
world.
100%.
So I really see like expectations can be a thief at the holidays.
Yeah.
And
Right.
we all do it, so to just not have that expectation and not think I have to do this or that to
Right.
make my family happy. Your family would rather have you there and have experiences that you can remember for the rest of your life. Because I know from losing my son, it's the memories we talk about.
Absolutely.
It's the memories
Yep.
we made together that last forever.
And that's why,
And-
that's why I joke that I say I'm never going to die to my kids because of that, what you just said.
Right.
No, seriously, because
Right.
the memories are what people carry.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what you remember.
we may throw those memories into an object, like those things that collect dust that Trinity
Yeah.
was talking about. We may throw those memories and that
Yeah.
attachment to the objects, but it's those memories, right, Chris? I mean,
Yeah.
that's why. I mean, he's always with you.
Right.
I mean, I think sometimes they're almost more with you when you know they can actually be with you all the time. Because when someone's physical, like when someone's alive, I mean, you may feel like they're with you, but they're somewhere else experiencing
Right.
something. But when they've passed, all my past people, all the people that I know have passed away, I feel like they're with me like whenever I can conjure them up or whenever I don't really want them to be even. You know what I mean? It's like they're with me all the time.
It's like now's not a good time. No.
Yeah. Can you just go away for a second? But I feel like if I think about them, then they're there.
Right.
So you have to don't be here right now.
No, it's not good.
but it's a really cool thing to kind of give people, and there's a lot of people responding. So I just want to come to a little response. First of all, Pete Karate says hi, Chris, and
Hi,
says
Pete.
welcome to the show.
I've missed him at some parties this week, and I'm so bummed.
Yeah, parties. I wasn't invited, Pete.
I gotta say though, Pete, rocking the
Pete.
beard, man. I'm loving
I
it.
know.
Yeah.
Rocking the
I
beard.
barely recognized you, Pete. You look so.
I like it.
Yeah.
Now
that he's not running for office
Right.
all of a sudden.
a
Pete,
man.
He's talking about his recovery on the Facebook Live. He says
Yeah.
part of my recovery to get back so freely as I've been given was for many years is how do I stay clean. And so giving back is part of that holiday
Yes.
time. We have Kathy on Facebook Live. She's also responded. She says, I'll be 4 years in March, but my mom says to me the other day, your sister and brother are making me nuts. How come you're not? And then, so, her mom's very proud of her. And that's how it happens, right? All of a
Yes.
sudden, the black sheep is no longer the black sheep. Like my mom knows.
Right.
Mom, if you're watching, you know that's true, by the way. I'm no longer causing any issues. I'm not saying Jimmy is, because he's not. But if anybody's gonna, my bet's on him.
Well, you're not causing the kind of issues you used to.
Correct.
You might cause an issue because you're
Right.
feisty, but you're not going to
Okay,
cause an
she's
issue
got
coming
me
in,
down.
being drunk and obnoxious and being mean or
Right.
whatever you used to do. I don't know what you used to do.
Right.
but-
No, I'm sober and obnoxious.
right.
Exactly.
So I'm more
can't
obnoxious
even
sober
imagine.
than intoxicated. Actually, intoxicated, I'm probably like gone. I'm just gone.
But don't you think? I mean, seriously, don't you think life is more fun when you're sober?
Right.
Seriously,
Right.
it's everything's
Right.
just so clear, and you can. Well, think about the things you can't remember now. Think about
Right.
how you used to be.
Oh my God.
Because now you can't remember stuff, but think about when you really
You
couldn't
can't remember to walk in here today.
I can't remember anything.
No.
I think that's
I'm
an
like
age
losing
thing.
my mind.
That's an age thing.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah.
And happy birthday, Prince Muhammad's having his birthday on January 1, by the
Aw.
way.
Every birthday.
Happy birthday.
Hey, Sean. Hey, Kim. How you doing? So that's what we're talking about
Yeah.
today. Is be there. And so often, you think you're there. And here, I got to be truthful here, because you said something, Chris, a little bit earlier, and I got to be real truthful. It's not that New Year's was always bad when you're intoxicated. I get it. Look, and listen, I've had some great moments intoxicated. I'm not one of those guys that's going to go out there and say, my best day intoxicated, was not as good as my worst day sober. Bull. I'm not that sober person that's going to say that is a true statement. I think that's a little over-exaggeration and not really truthful, because I've had some very awesome days intoxicated. The problem with the disease of addiction, not just intoxication. I'm not talking to everybody just intoxicated.
Right.
You know, if you can get intoxicated, have fun, and then the next day it be, back to being normal.
Sure.
Yeah.
Great for you. Keep doing it. Have fun. I mean,
Right.
I'm not trying to make the world sober. What I'm talking about is the people that actually have the disease of addiction, who it's kind of ruining their lives. They're actually controlled by whatever substance they're taking. And I don't care if the substance is a physical one, like gambling, sex, working out, or whether it's a chemical one, like, cocaine, crack, heroin. I don't care if it's pot. I don't care if it's an amphetamine. I don't care if it's a prescribed medication. I don't care. What I'm talking about is there's people out there that have the disease of addiction where the fun moments are now over. Like you're trying to make it a fun moment where even though it has a period of fun, that peak line just doesn't last very long anymore.
It's overshadowed by all the stuff.
And it's overshadowed by all the destruction that you wake up to the next day. And then the next day, you're hearing about things you did, or what you did, and you're apologizing all the time now. And whereas before all the apologies were like, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry because I got caught. Now it's, I'm sorry, and that was really bad. I can't believe I ever really did that. And if you're one of those individuals who are now looking at yourself in the mirror like that one time I did, and that was a different mirror talk, where I saw myself in the mirror and I said, you're a junkie, man. This is not who you are. You have officially reached junkie status. And yet, by everybody else's definition, I wasn't.
Right.
It was enough for me to look and go, for me, that was it. That was enough of a junkie status for me, and I was done. And so I had to make those changes, whereas other people are not hearing that. They're not hearing that from themselves. They're not hearing it from other people. But there's a lot of people out there, and you know who you are, where you have said that to yourself, but you're not admitting it to me. You're not admitting it to your loved ones, because then they win, or some crazy little game that we play in our head where we can't let them win because they're wrong about things too. And everybody's got to be right. You can't let that other person know that they're right. So you're saying, no, I'm not. But when you go home or when you're alone and when you have that private mirror talk, you look at yourself and you go, one of these days, man, I gotta stop. I mean, this can't go on. I gotta cut down. Maybe if I do this, and you try to kind of get clean and sober secretly at first,
right.
And you kind of try to do your things without really telling everybody. But this is that time of year where you can just be out loud and proud, and this is why I always combine when we talk about addiction and recovery. I kind of not combine, akin it. Is that the way to say it to the gay movement, the gay pride movement of just come out of the closet?
Yeah,
it's okay to come out of the closet and just say I'm effed up, man. I'm not well. Yeah. If it's depression, then come on and say, you know what, I'm depressed. Yeah. I mean, I know I look happy. I know I'm doing things. Yeah. And I know I'm available. And I know I have hobbies, and I know I have loved ones, and I know that people care about me. But I'm just not feeling life. And so come out. And no matter what's going on with you, this is the perfect time to come out and say, I need to get help this holiday season. And what I want to give myself, more importantly, I know I'm going to give it to you too. I know it's a gift for you, but more importantly, I want to give me to me. I got to give me a gift this year, and I got to give me the gift of me getting better, and I got to go to rehab, or I got to get help. And I think that's the message that I think that we really need to convey today, is to give you to you, right. Because you haven't seen you in a very long time. You haven't known you in a very long time. I mean, I thought I was a paranoid schizophrenic. I was. Everybody used to talk about people in the trees, and I believed it. And by the way, they're real. They're real. I'm looking at all the cameras. Those people actually do live in the trees, but only certain substances will show you them. I don't want to see them. I don't want to hear them, and I don't want to see them.
I've never seen them.
Oh, there's certain things that you do that'll actually let you hear radio frequencies that you're absolutely not supposed to listen to. I'm convinced that those are real. Wow. Paranoid schizophrenics know it because I've treated enough paranoid schizophrenics to know that they're all kind of hearing the same thing. So that tells me that frequency is real. I don't want to hear it.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
You don't want to hear it, kids. So anyway, this is what we're talking about. So play along, kids. What do you say?
You touched on so many good points.
I ramble a little bit sometimes.
A lot of good points.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Trinity, you were about to say something.
Well, the other thing I would say is
love you too, Caesar.
Myself, we discussed it. We were just talking about actually before going on air. I'm not the biggest holiday guy myself,
Right.
you know, for whatever reason.
Right.
And if somebody out there has the same kind of outlook on them, what a great way to make the holidays meaningful, though. Like, if that is the time you became sober. So if you're not really into the holidays, it's a great way to make yourself into the holidays.
Yeah.
I mean, because Christmas, I think, would take on a whole new vibe, a whole new kind of ambiance, if you will.
Well, you know, in going along with that, and not to take away from the point that you are making, I want to put a big stamp on the point you are making. There's a lot of loneliness attached with this disease.
Yeah.
And I don't, you know, I could be around a lot of people, and I was still feeling very alone.
Yeah.
No matter what. So there's a lot of you out there that are feeling very lonely, even when you think you're present. Yeah. And so, going along with your point, if you go into rehab right now, if you get clean and sober right now, there's a lot of people that will love on you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you're actually going into. You're going into very loving places, and you'll feel that warmth of connectivity. And there's a warmth to connectivity that you haven't experienced for a very long time because you haven't been not only not connected with yourself, but you've been disconnecting from other people because you hate apologizing. I do. So I don't really want to keep connecting with people that I got to, like, be something with when I'm using. Right? I don't want responsibilities. You know, don't depend on me. That's why you kind of push people away. That's why anger or obnoxious behavior or real rude stuff push people away, and then you have nobody around you. Yeah. And it kind of makes it simple. And all the people you have around you are just people doing the exact same thing.
Right.
No expectations. But you can bring that big warmth of a hug of people. And when I say a hug, I mean I'm figuratively. They're going to hug you too, by the way. That was really weird. But I meant more in the aura type sense.
How you feel, how it feels like warmth around you.
Right.
Well, another thing you said earlier that jumped out at me was about doing it for you. Because I think maybe some people say, well, I'm going to do this for you, sweetie.
Right.
But then ultimately, I mean, what's your take on that? Because you can say, well, I want to do this because of you. But ultimately, if you're trying to do it for someone else, is it maybe taken, like you kind of want to do it for yourself because to get clean and sober, and you're saying, well, I'm doing it just for you.
Right.
It starts with you, right? It starts here.
Yeah.
I mean, there's part of that that's, you know, obviously you want the people around you to not have to experience it.
Right.
But I think at the base of it, it's like if you love yourself, right? You love yourself so much that you don't want to do this to yourself anymore and those around you.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And so here, the issue with that is that a lot of times people get told, you know, a family member will call me and they say, well, you know, I heard that if they don't want it for themselves, that it's not going to work anyway. Right. So, you know, it's not going to work. And I think
wrong.
I'm here to tell you, most people get clean and sober starting out those first initial days for someone else.
Yeah.
Not for themselves.
Or legally.
That's for someone else. That's what I'm saying. So it's either for a wife, a husband, a child. It could be a mother-in-law, a father-in-law. Yep. It could be a job. It could be a judge. It could be a probation officer. It could be a cop. It could be some sort of fear. Something got in the way that kind of obstructed your path a little bit. And not that you intended to be clean and sober, but you just said, I'm just going to stop for today because of that person. I just want them to shut up, or I want to get through this, or I want to get the job, or I want to get off probation. Third strike.
Jail, not be in jail.
But that's for someone else. In that initial start, and then sometimes maybe the miracle happens. Maybe you went to some meetings and maybe you heard something that rang true for you. Maybe you met a therapist and something felt good for you. Yeah. Maybe it was a delayed reaction where the initial time where you met that therapist, that counselor, that meeting you went to, maybe it didn't take that day, but then a week down the road, a month down the road, even years down the road, it clicked. It doesn't matter. You didn't initially begin the process of recovery on your own most of the time. If you're waiting for you to want it 100% on your own,
good luck.
That day may never come.
Right.
Mañana nunca viene. Tomorrow never comes. But if you are willing to do it for someone else, even just for this, then do it. But what you're going to see, because unfortunately this disease that we carry has a lot of selfishness to it, but there's also a lot of people-pleasing to this disease. So while you go in there trying to people-please, you're naturally also selfish because the disease puts you in a very selfish place. You're going to find a way to enjoy it for yourself.
Sure.
You're going to find a way to embrace it and make it about you. you're going to find a way to make any 24-hour moment about you. And while you're doing that, what I'm saying is make it about you and go like, this feels kind of good right now.
Pat on the back.
Yeah, I'm actually eating well. You know what I mean? I'm eating decent food. Now, the funny thing is that I say that, and there's a bunch of people in the rehab industry that are probably saying, yeah, they'll complain about 3 square meals and good food. Even though on the street you're probably like eating junk and eating like some fast food stuff every day.
Isn't that the number one complaint about thing, though, is the food?
Food, temperature, roommate.
Yeah.
Can't smoke. Can't smoke right now. You know, something. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, look, the world is full of things to complain about.
Of course.
I mean, obviously, watch. You know, don't leave this Facebook page right now. But obviously, you know, all your whole feed is full of people just being negative about something. Mm-hmm. But
sometimes you gotta start blocking that. You gotta start blocking it, even if they're your friends. You know, just hide
some people
those
do.
posts.
Some people need to block it.
Because sometimes that just takes you even further the other way. If that's all you're seeing, all you're hearing.
Yeah.
Right? I
mean,
mean,
it's a lot of negativity.
Yeah.
It's a lot of negativity. Look, this is holiday season. If you want to sit and be negative, sit and be negative. But how does that work for you?
Exactly.
I mean, that doesn't work really well for me.
I think you brought up a good point, though. I mean, and we've talked about it before. It doesn't really matter why you get started, whether it be the law, whatever it is.
Right.
You know, it takes some sort of catalyst. Doesn't matter what it is to get started.
Right.
I will agree, though, long term, you're going to have to do it for yourself. But I think you can find that while you're in there, because
that's the key.
Going into it, it's not you anymore. Your brain isn't really you anymore. And so you can't really make any of those decisions. But once you've gotten the clarity of sobriety and you're surrounded by people who love and care for you and people whose main job is just to help you be successful, somewhere in there, I think that's the hope, is it starts to click. And you're like, hey, you know what? I do want this.
That's how you keep it.
This feels good. And that's how you maintain it. As far as getting started, I don't care what your reason is.
I don't care.
I mean,
I
it
don't
could be
care.
the most shallow reason.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Mine was the most shallow, and it didn't matter.
As long as you get started, man.
Right.
Well, and you talked about meetings too. So I've never been through any rehab or anything like that because
no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
But it's never.
By the way, my 2 co-hosts over here have they're not in recovery. Just
but I have had several friends who have gone through the 12 steps, and I've actually gone to meetings, and I've read the Blue Book. And the Blue Book. And I think it's like, I mean, I think everyone should go through that.
Right.
Seriously. It's like, that's such a good way to look at life. It really is. Right. And I actually went to some meetings. They gave me a friendship.
A friendship? Wait, hold up. Whoa, time out now.
I'm about to hear something, I'm sure.
Wait a minute. All the years that I've been doing this, and as many people I've helped, I've never... What's the deal, bro? Why do I not have a friendship?
This is 2018. This is a weird time in the world where apparently...
I feel BS coming on right now. Where's my friendship, man?
I got to be honest, man. I've never seen one. So this is a meeting taking... This is the meetings now taking it far. The goats have now brought in... We're not going to get into that.
But I'm okay with that.
The goats have brought in a friendship to meeting.
This is one of the rare instances I'm okay because I want my friendship.
That's not a thing? Did I just get...
No, I don't know if it's a thing.
Well could
listen, it very well could be. But I'm just saying that, you know, back in the day when I first walked in, you'd even just say, man, I feel like using someone to give you $5 and say, get the hell out of here and go use them. It was
like a graduation day or something.
I'm just saying, if it is a thing... I want one. So all you people out there listening, if I've helped you in the past somehow, some way,
get a friendship.
Give me a friendship. Right. I want a friendship. I want one.
All right, we're gonna make that.
I can't because I'll never get one of the actual chips and stuff. Right. So I want a friendship.
I got one for you.
I thought it was pretty cool. I have it in my jewelry box.
Yeah, rub it in.
Friendship.
Rub it in. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Does it say friendship on it?
I don't remember.
Oh.
I don't remember
so
if
you
it
have
actually
it, but you never looked at it.
It's very meaningful.
Yeah.
It's meaningful, but it's the meaning
of
it. It doesn't matter what it says.
You never even looked at it.
It was one of those things collecting dust. You just threw it on the shelf.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thanks.
It might
Appreciate
say
that.
something, you know.
The truth just came out.
Exactly.
It might say something like, why are you at my meeting? You know, kind of thing. Like maybe I wasn't supposed to be there. I don't know.
Why are you at my meeting?
Go home.
I know.
It says, to thine own self be true, F you.
Go home, Normie.
It's been a lot. I mean, I've had it like 10 years. But I'll tell you one thing. I'm going to go home and look at it today.
We shall see
and
if
then
you
I'm going
find
to
it.
duplicate it for you. I'm
There
going to
you
make
go.
copies and frame it.
And I'll get my friendship
Not
from a
that-
sober person. What's the deal,
exactly.
man?
But I did. I mean, I got a lot out of reading through all the 12 steps.
Right.
And just everything that it says. Just
Right.
like, wow, this is That's good stuff.
It's because they don't require. It doesn't require you to have the disease of addiction to actually gain from the knowledge of the 12 steps.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, it's just it's just a good progression of going through a personal inventory of self, of where you're at, evaluating yourself. And if you think about it, we have a checklist on just about anything, right? Like if you want to, if something's not right with your car, you have a whole checklist on how to keep that maintenance right so that you don't have issues with your car. There's maintenance issues for a house, so you don't have those issues with your house. But with your body and yourself, we don't have those that checklist that we really go through. And so there is a mental checklist, a physical checklist, a desire checklist of where you're at, your purpose, your passion. And there's this checklist basically involved with the 12 steps that when you go through it, you evaluate it. If you like where you're at, stay there. If you don't, then keep moving forward and go further down the checklist. And I think it's a good way. And at the end, it's about giving back. So, and that's what Pete Crotty was saying on the Facebook Live part, which is he was saying, to keep it, I got to give it back. And so, you give back because that's what you do with kindness, right? To keep your smile on your face, you smile to somebody else.
Pay it forward.
Everyone smile right now.
Sure.
See how much better you feel?
That's right.
That's right, man.
Thank you for giving that to me.
You're welcome. Merry Christmas.
And when I'm realizing it's really hard to do this show with this the end result of the sickness that Chris gave me.
Well, at least you got something.
I didn't get
the friendship.
I didn't get the friendship, but I got the cough.
I had this on my mic.
You had it on your mic, but you know what? I hugged you, and that's when you probably gave it to me.
I didn't cough on you.
Yeah,
you
I don't know
insisted I come over.
I really don't know that you did. You probably did.
Maybe I was like right in your face and went,
no bueno.
Yeah, you probably did. I don't know what you did, but you gave it to me.
I'm so terrified.
I'm sorry, I'm in
gonna get
denial
sick, man.
about that.
Yeah. Well,
so
anyway, back to the issue. I just can't. Every time I start talking, I just got that tickle in my throat. And
Hey, but at least she gave you
know.
something for Christmas, though.
You want some of
She
my
gave you
water?
sickness.
No, I'm just whining and complaining.
You want
'Cause
some of my water? We can pass it back
listen,
and forth.
There you go.
Listen, just here's what sobriety did to me. It didn't change me from being a whiny, crying baby. You know what I mean?
Give you
If my
different
family
things
was
to
watching,
cry
they'd say,
about.
"Look, he's always crying
always
about
been-
something.
yeah.
He's always whining about something."
But at least you're real.
I'm so high maintenance. It's
You
ridiculous.
know, that's the cool thing about you is you're real.
Yeah.
Real talk.
Yeah, I'm real talking. I'm a real jerk sometimes. I'm real annoying sometimes.
You
I'm
might
real
be a jerk,
obnoxious
but at
sometimes.
least you know you're real. You're not like pretending to be nice and you're really a jerk underneath.
No, I'm really nice too. Listen. I'm a perfect Libra. Whereas, as nice as you go, man, Louie, you're just so nice and I'm that much of a jerk as well.
But see, you admit it. You admit it.
Right. And
That's
that's key.
it.
There you go.
Admit you're a jerk.
I think we all
And
should.
admit you're nice.
I
Let's
think
all
we all
admit
should
we can
admit.
be jerks. Ready?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, we got to do it on cue? I'm
One,
such a
two,
jerk.
three,
I'm
go.
Smiled
such
on
a jerk.
cue.
I'm not even going to do that on cue.
No, but the other thing you mentioned earlier was about the holidays.
A peppermint.
Was,
I do need a peppermint. Thank you,
Yep.
Katie.
Yeah.
You got a peppermint?
Who has mint?
I don't have a peppermint.
No,
Oh.
Katie on there had a mint. You're looking at Trinity. You think I'm talking to Trinity.
Yeah, I don't have one.
Well,
No,
you
she's-
talked about something earlier about if you've lost somebody dealing with the holidays, which, for me, this is my second Christmas season.
Keep talking.
without
I'm
my
getting a
son.
water.
Okay, this is the second Christmas season without my son.
Right.
And I know a lot of people that are going through their first holiday without their loved one that they lost. And I think that's one of the hardest things is, and if you do already have a tendency to want to cope with that with drugs or alcohol, it could make it worse. So like Pete was saying about giving back, last Christmas was our first Christmas without my son, and we did I made kindness rocks and went and put them around everywhere with messages from him. And I went and did things for other people to kind of take so I didn't just sit around and feel sorry for myself. I actually was going out trying to do something that he would want to do in his honor.
Nice.
And instead of just sitting home feeling depressed about it, which is, it's okay to feel sad about it, obviously, but I wanted to give back what he gave us. And so I went and did that. So a lot of people that are struggling and have lost someone, and the first year, they say the first year is always the hardest. Some people say the second year, it's always hard, but to actually, help other people and go to the homeless shelter and go give back. You'll go buy a bunch of pizzas and take it to some guys that you see in the woods every day.
That actually feels really good.
What, pizza?
Yeah, no, I've given stuff like that. Yeah, that feels really good like that.
Give it, So doing something like that where you're actually giving to someone else, and it also takes your mind off of you and what you're kind of dealing with, which it's not like denial, but it's like just taking a break from what you're dealing with, long enough to go and do something else, and then it just kind of takes you away from that long enough to because you can keep going down till a darker level, but if you kind of come back up, do something good, and you kind of go back, but then you're like, okay, I'm going to do something else. Just kind of doesn't even have to be monetary. It can just be out, handing out smiles at the groceries.
Well, your time is more valuable, anyways.
You could be, the awkward hugs and random people. I don't know. That's something you would do, Louis.
Well, you gotta be careful.
Awkward
with
hug.
Awkward hugs
the Me
to
Too
strangers.
stuff. Man, you gotta be careful.
We have a video of my son, and he went to Target, and he would like walk up to random people and go, put his video on and go, I'm at Target with my dad. Say hi, Dad. And these random people would be like,
funny.
Hi. And they'd play along with him.
That's funny.
And it was so like everyone was smiling and laughing, and then I have those videos, so it's just fun to watch.
Oh,
just like cool. That's so random. And he would do it in restaurants too, and people would just start laughing. They'd smile, which is part of when you laugh and you can't even control it because something's just totally off like that. Then it takes you away from that heavy place of what you were just feeling. So
you brought up something really cool, and I love that, by the way. Plus, join in on happy birthday songs at a restaurant. Just join in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or when you're doing a birthday
at
at your table and the next table's just watching, say don't just watch. You can sing.
Join in.
Just talk to them. But anyway, on one of the points that you made,
that's how you bring Christmas cheer, singing loud for all the world to hear us.
Yeah,
that's
do
what
something
Elf
goofy.
says.
Goofy helps.
Elf said that.
Of course.
Elf said.
Elf.
He said what?
Elf the mute.
What
the best way to spread Christmas cheer is to sing loud for everyone to hear.
Aww.
That's not the exact quote, but I've seen Elf the musical twice last week.
Poet didn't know.
Aww.
I've seen Elf the musical twice, and that's what they say.
All right.
Elf.
Oh, I thought it was the one with the comedian.
I thought it was the movie.
No, he says it in
He
that
says
too.
it? Oh, there's so many other great moments
I
in that.
don't know the exact quote, but it's
Well, good thing this isn't a news channel then.
Somebody will probably tell us.
Yeah, this is a news channel anyway. So, Katie was agreeing with some of the things you said. She appreciated the points you were making. But I wanted to get to one of the points that you're making about the holidays when someone's no longer with you. Because what's real important, I get asked that a lot, and people say, well, the holidays are just never going to be the same. They're not supposed to be the same. Right. You had what you had. Don't do it the same. Mm-hmm. One of the coolest things you can do, which sounds like what you're doing, is you change the way it is. You just create new traditions.
Traditions, yeah.
You create new traditions based upon your current situation.
Yeah.
Don't get rid of the holiday. Just change what it means.
Right.
Change on how you live it. And so that way you're not trying to live back in a past holiday that no longer exists, but you're allowing that person to go with you forward into the new ways of having a holiday. That's what they would want. They wouldn't want you. I mean, imagine if you're not here any longer, but you can experience everything with the person.
Right.
But you can't say anything. You can't influence them. And you watch it. They just took away something that you're remembering and you hold fondly, but now you watch them not do it anymore.
Well, I wouldn't want people
I'd
to
be
live
sad.
in pain.
So you would want them. No. Let's do something different. Let's. You would want that, and so feel that little bit of inspiration that they're probably trying to push onto you, regardless of what your faith is, regardless of what your religion is, regardless of what you believe. Just use the power of their influence inside you to create. What would they want to do then? If they could do anything as a tradition, now that they're no longer held by the constraints of what a traditional Christmas is supposed to look like, what would they want to do?
Right.
And then do it.
Well, last year we went to the beach, and because I didn't want to wake up at my house on Christmas morning without him there, we went and got hotels at the beach. Yeah. And then we played that game. You know the game you put, and it looks like you're at the dentist?
The teeth?
You put it in your teeth. Yeah. We played that game, and then you have to say something, and you can't tell what you're saying.
Yeah.
We were laughing so hard, and it's like I could feel him there laughing, because it was the kind of, where you're laughing so hard, and that's what he used to do. It's like you could feel him there laughing with us. Right. And that, to me, felt so much better than sitting around being like, oh, he's not here, he's not here to open his presents, and he's not here in the morning. We're just out doing something different, and then all these signs kept showing up like that he was actually with us. And it's almost you could feel him laughing with us.
Yeah.
And that's what he'd want. And a lot of times you feel guilty for that. You're like, no, what? I can't laugh.
Yeah.
It's kind of a preconceived notion that you should.
You're supposed to be bad. You're not supposed to be enjoying your life.
You're not supposed to be happy anymore.
You're supposed to be mourning.
Yeah.
Still.
Forever.
Yeah.
And, boy, that just pulls you down into a dark place, the place you don't want to be.
Yeah.
And then that's when you turn to things to try and numb that pain.
Yeah.
Right.
And to try and to stay away from that is key.
Right. And I think for the people that are using and still with us, that's exactly how your family's feeling. They're mourning you already. You know, they're already existing as if you have passed on. Sometimes even just trying to prepare, because that, to them, that's what's going to happen. Yep. I've been on at least 2 phone calls in the last week of individuals who are talking exactly that way. I'm already living as if they're gone because it's going to happen. It's just not working. Yeah. Even if there's a Marchman Act procedure, you know, in place, which in Florida we have a Marchman Act where you can be involuntarily placed just because of substance, you know, use or problem. It doesn't have to be a suicide or homicidal thing. But in other states they have similar things like that as well. But even when that's in place, like, you know, it's just not. It's temporary. It's a temporary Band-Aid. I just know it's not working. And so you can hear that they're already living in mourning. Yep. They're already living in pain. So this is something that you can surprise them. And here's the other thing. They may not even believe you. Yeah. I'm gonna just tell it to you straight. You're gonna think they're not gonna believe me. They've already spent so much money on rehabs before. They've already put me in counseling before. I've wasted so much money. I've told them I was gonna quit so many times. I'm just gonna go do it and then come back when I'm done. No. Right. No, they belong. They deserve to be part of the healing process. Yeah. Because guess what? They need healing too. Yeah. Yep. So
and they want to be part of it.
They want to be part of the process.
Yeah, and when you get to a place where you think nobody wants to be a part of it, it'd be easier just to not have them part of it. Yeah. And everyone would want to be a part of it. Right. Really.
Yeah. What we don't want to be a part of, we don't want to be a part of watching you die.
No.
The reason they've disconnected from you is because it's hard to watch you die. Mm-hmm. It's very awesome to watch you live and do things first again, because you're basically like a brand new baby. You
learning to walk.
You really are. You're learning how to do everything again. Yep. You know, and that's why, you know, at first you sound really awkward. Like, all you do is, there's so many people new in recovery. It's funny because you always know when someone's brand new in recovery because they're saying everything that's recovery related. You know, they're using all the recovery lingo all the time for everything, but it's like a brand new baby learning to walk. They're just, you know, gaga goo goo. You never look at a baby and say, really, gaga goo goo. That's so original. So original. You're the first baby that ever said gaga goo goo. Yes, I know. He jumped over the fence. Good. You know, talk to me when you can, you know, count to 100. You know what I mean? You know, but don't be rude to these individuals. These people are learning to walk again, and so it's like seeing colors for the first time again. Right. It's like you know, hearing music again for the first time. And so this is all just really cool stuff. And that's when I say, when you're giving yourself the gifts, when you're getting clean and sober, it's because everything becomes that. What you learn is every day, wow, you know what? Colors weren't even this bright before I got high. Right. Yeah. And at least for me, everything that I've experienced since getting clean and sober is even better because I never even had that before getting clean and sober. The world never even looked this good, never felt this good, even before.
Well, it's because you started young.
Yeah. Yeah, so I can't remember. That's a good thing about my memory loss. Thank you for reminding me about that.
I think, I mean, that's kind of when we started this conversation, that's the first thing that popped in my head, right? Like, in my life, you know, I've been, you know, fortunate enough to have all sorts of really cool things happen. But the one thing that's probably been the best that's happened to me in my life, above all, is just obtaining peace in my life. Right. Like, peace is the thing that just means more to me than anything else or anybody, just peace. Yes. And I think that's, you know, people often overlook that. They don't understand the value of that. Right. And I think that's what you're in a unique position if you are struggling with addiction and you're thinking about going in and you're just not sure and you're worried about how it's going to affect everybody in the holiday. Is this the right time? Yeah, it is the right time because they're going to be able to wake up and I guarantee if they're your loved ones, the first thing they're going to say is they're going to be okay. Yeah. Like, I don't have to worry about where they're at right now. Like, you're giving them that peace. Right. And that allows them to go on with their lives and feel not guilty for having a good Christmas and feel not guilty for enjoying all the little subtleties that are taking place. They can feel all that because they're at peace because they know you're okay. Right. They don't feel like, oh, I got to worry about them or is today the day I'm going to get the call? Yeah. They don't have to think about all that. So I think that people underestimate the gravity that peace can give you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're worried about leaving your kids on Christmas, if you have little kids and you're saying, you know what, I can't go to rehab on Christmas, I got to be there with the family, you're probably really not there anyway, to be honest with you. And even when you're there, everybody is really, do you really want to feel so judged this Christmas again? I mean, do you know how this feels? All right, so when you are in active addiction, and everybody knows it, you can't be sick. You can't have red eyes. You can't be tired. You can't be too hyper. You can't laugh too much. Everything you do, somebody's looking at you like,
here we go again.
You okay? And everybody's, you all right? How you doing? Everything sounds like a judgment. I'm all right. What do you mean I'm all right? What do you mean? Of course, what? I don't look all right. What? I'm high now. I'm getting high. Yeah, Mom. I went into the kitchen and I smoked crack real quick before coming back out with the eggnog.
Turkey. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You want to smell my drink? You know, it's like, if you're using, even when you're there, it's a little too dramatic for everyone's taste. So if you're worried about leaving your family for Christmas or worried about leaving your kids for Christmas, listen, you've been gone, brother. You've been gone.
You already left them.
You've been gone. So just, it's the opposite. It's think about all the beautiful Christmases you can have afterwards because you did what you had to do this Christmas. Yeah. You want to make it up to them? How about, have a banging January, you know what I mean? Where you come out and you do Christmas in January again. And that's what they're going to remember. They're not going to remember the exact date, December 25th. I don't. I don't remember those. I've had a lot of great family Christmases, to be honest with you. I got some memories like here and there. But because of age, I don't remember hardly anything. Just kidding. But it wasn't age. It was all the pot. The pot did it. I'm going to blame the pot.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Blame it on the pot. That sounds like a new song. Man.
Blame it on the pot, man.
Blame it on
Other
the
people
pot.
blame it on alcohol. Listen,
We're going to start getting all them letters now.
Yeah. All alcohol did is fuzzy faces, so I don't even remember who they were. But what pot did is just, I don't know what happened. You know what I mean? I just have no idea what happened. I'm just going to go with that. And then, so the real issue is you have an opportunity right now. Don't think, all right, I'll do it in January.
January might not come.
It may not be here. It's today. Just pick up the phone. Like so many have been doing this, and I'm inspired by doing the show today because it's just already happened in the last week or so. So many phone calls of people just saying, I just got to do something.
Yeah.
And
just make the phone call.
Right. Just make the phone call.
call.
Even just talk about it.
Yeah.
What number
even if
can
you
they call?
decide not to go to rehab. 833 Now Matters. Called 1-833 Now Matters. Thanks,
go.
Trinity. Go ahead, Trinity.
833 Now Matters.
That's right, man.
Yeah, sometimes if you just start talking about it, it doesn't seem as bad as you think, right? If it's just in your head and you're just swirling in your mind, whatever thoughts you want about your family or the holidays or what have you, sometimes you talk about it and you're like, oh, well, it wasn't as bad as I thought. Right? Just getting it out, especially talking to you.
Right.
I mean, that would bring me out of anything, I think.
There you go. Oh,
You see, my mom's going to really like you now because look, my mom's on here now. Hey, Mom, how you doing?
Hey, Mom, he's a good boy.
That's right. And like even Cindy K put 833 Now Matters on there. Good. Thank you for doing that.
Well, no, but to have someone listen to you that actually is present and listens to you and then says things back to you that are real. It's like you don't BS around. Right? So if somebody tells you something, you're going to give them the truth and you're going to talk to them in a positive way.
That's right.
But in a way that's also honest. Because a lot of times people talk to someone and they try and sugarcoat it for them. Like, oh, it's not that bad. You're okay. Da-da. But you're like talking like, all right, let's get you some help today. Like right now.
Yeah.
Like right now we can do this. So people don't have to wait, like you said, till next year. You can do something right now. If you call that number right now and talk to somebody.
Right.
Now is when things can change. Not next month, not next year, but right this second.
Right.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, and I think that's thank you for that. That's real important because we always want to wait and delay.
I know.
I love procrastinating.
Yeah.
I have convinced myself that I operate best under pressure. I have convinced myself that I do things, better when there's a deadline like now.
Yeah.
A matter of fact, I have to write my next article for Brevard Live magazine by tomorrow. So I have no idea what I'm going to write it about, but we'll see.
Well, now matters more.
Now matters.
Do it
So
now.
you want me to just write now? So you guys finish the show and let me go write my article.
We'll help you out.
That's right.
Yeah. But you can convince yourself about a lot of things, and that's fine. And that's some of us have similar personalities, and that's why we kind of gel. But the real key point is with this particular issue, when it comes to a life and death situation, you don't have that luxury of waiting. This is not like you'll lose your job if you don't do it. This is not like you'll just disappoint somebody if you don't do it. This is like the next time you use.
Could be the last.
Yeah.
Especially with all the fentanyl and everything that's out there.
Right.
You don't. You never know.
You don't even know what you're getting.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And at best, this is what you're getting. Just more of the same bullshit that you've already been giving yourself. At best. At best. If there's no fentanyl in it, if it's pure, if it's the best stuff you ever wanted, at best, you're going to get the same high. You've already reached the best high you can ever have. What you have not had was the worst low you've ever had. You've already experienced all the best stuff that drugs have to offer. You really have. At least I did. After that, it was just a bunch of BS that I never experienced. And so, you know, if you had to be honest with yourself, there's no better party than you've already been to. There's no better wild experience than you've already had. There's no better enjoyment, excitement, or first that you've ever had. But what there is a lot of lows that you have yet to experience. If you hadn't had loss yet, you will. If you haven't lost somebody because of your use, you will. If you haven't lost yourself, gone to jail, you will. If you haven't been to an institution, you will. I mean, these things, well, the reason they're called yets is because if you hang around long enough, if you're blessed enough to live while still using long enough, you'll experience every negative that someone else mentioned that you said, that's never happened to me. Just keep using it. Because it's just like doing the right thing. Even in a positive situation, right? Like if you're a singer that has never made it to the pinnacle of stardom, and you wanted to be a singer, if you sing long enough, you're going to have all the feelings and accolades that the real popular person have. You just won't have the millions of dollars. You just won't be known by everybody. But if you sing long enough, you'll at least get all the blessings of being the singer. You'll have all the people come up to you and say how great you are and wonderful and all that stuff than anyone else did. I mean, you'll reach the pinnacle of that. So in positives that happens, but also in negatives. You'll hear the negative stories and you'll live through them. Well, and that's what you can avoid right now.
There's one more, one more harsh reality,
Hey,
that I just kind of thought of. As far as the timing and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And what made me think of it was you saying that if somebody were to mention, I don't want to go to rehab right now, I can't leave my kids, I don't want to give them that memory.
Yeah.
Well, there's another memory that we haven't really discussed. We've kind of beat around the bush a little bit, but can you imagine giving your family members the memory of dying on Christmas or around there? Like, would that not kind of affect their memory from Christmas from now on for the rest of their lives?
Yeah.
And so I think that that's something to take in consideration as well.
There's a lot of holidays ruined like that for people.
And so, if you're truly trying to do what's best for yourself, best for your family members, it is to give them the gift of sobriety and peace and things of that nature. But it's also like, how about I don't ruin that for them as well? How about I not, especially if you have little kids, man. Like if your kids are 8, 9 years old, and you were to overdose or something like that and pass away on Christmas, is that not going to affect the Christmas for the rest of their lives?
And that point is probably best stamped around depression and suicide.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because if around this time period, if right now you're in the holiday season and you're thinking of hurting yourself, I mean, you can't come back and change that December.
Nope.
For them. You can't come back and change their Christmas. So if you even have little hints in your head about, then call somebody today.
Yeah.
Call somebody right now.
Yeah.
And you get that help because that fleeting thought that you've probably beat down and lived through it, 1,000 times, that doesn't mean you're going to live through that thought 1,001 times.
Yep.
Eventually that thinking is going to overwhelm you. Eventually that thinking is going to sound like a really good friggin' idea. Yeah. And whatever stopped you that 1,000 times may not be present to stop you that 1,001 time. And so if you're having any kind of emotion during this holiday season that requires someone to just hug on you, just love on you, because you can't hug on yourself and love on yourself right now, then reach out and get it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get that hug. But you're not going to get it in a chemical, and you're not going to get it in some sort of self-injurious behavior.
Nope.
And despite what Trinity says, you're not going to get it just from getting a new tattoo. That's not going to give you the hug that you want.
Feels pretty damn good though.
But it may feel pretty good.
Well, Louis, I've talked to a lot of people that have attempted suicide in the past, and just from what I'm doing right now, and every single person said, they had that one moment,
right?
But now they look back and think it wasn't what I thought it was. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was, and they've gone on to do amazing things. Like a friend of mine is a chief of police now, and he had that moment where he was about to end his life, and he was looking back. He's like, I was in this place, but now when I look back at that place, it was just like this moment. Yeah. And how grateful we are that the people that have thought that have not done that, because it's like a moment, and then you look back 20, 30, 40 years later, and it's like, wow, look what I've done with my life. And I've talked to so many people that are like, thank you that I did not take that step. So,
you just brought up a thought that maybe we just need to do as a campaign. If we can find enough people of stature, of notoriety, people that are, that people look up to and go like, wow, that person would never have this kind of life that I'm feeling right now, that I'm suffering right now. If we could find enough of them and that be the PSA, says I thought about it.
Yes.
Or I tried it, right?
And I'm still here. And look
and
what
I'm
I've
still
done.
here. And the reason you even know who I am, and the reason you've enjoyed what I do, because I didn't.
Yes.
Well,
We have another. That's an interesting little campaign
and
that
I
just
know
came in
so
my
many
head.
people like that.
Right.
I really do.
Right.
And it's like, oh my God, it just floors me because I think everything my
Interesting.
son was doing, and if he was still here, what he would be doing.
Well, no matter what, you're
Right.
more valuable alive than dead.
Yeah.
He's doing it through you, though, Chris. He's doing it
yeah.
through you, and for that, and with that, we got to close up Trinity. Well, let's first you, Chris. Last thoughts.
My last thoughts are kind of what we were just talking about. If anyone's in a dark place on the holidays, just reach out to someone. Call the phone numbers. Go to the texting hotlines. Talk to your friends. Talk to your parents. Talk to whoever is around, and just say, I'm feeling this way and I need help.
Right.
And there are so many people that want to help you. So many resources, and there is help. So if anyone gets to that place, like, I urge you not to go there, because like you said, it can ruin holidays for the rest of their life.
Right.
And you don't want to do that. And there's so much help, and you can get better, and you can start right this second, and you don't have to wait till next year, and you don't have to be stuck in that place, so.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
Right on.
Trinity.
I just, it sounds cliche, but give yourself and those around you the gift of sobriety, man.
Yeah.
I mean, do it. Don't wait. Do it now.
Right. And of course, everybody, thanks to our sponsors, Retreat Premier Addiction Treatment Centers, Journey Pure, 2 facilities that help a lot of people, including people that I'm connecting them with right now, so that they can help them. And there's some that have gone in this week because of that, and some that hopefully that'll go in this weekend or today actually. So look, final thoughts are pretty simple. Just like Chris and Trinity said, now matters more than anything. Whatever you're feeling right now, it does pass. It always passes. Just like good times pass, so do bad times. They just do. I know it seems like they keep coming back. I know it seems impossible. I know it seems so impossible that you could ever be that person that feels like the way I do. But you didn't know me back then. So your only frame of reference is how I feel now and how I project my life now. But you don't know how I was projecting and living then. And it wasn't this. It wasn't this. And I'm a better son because of it. I'm a better brother because of it. I'm a better husband and father because I'm just a better friend and person because of this. And so I urge you that if you need help, 833 Now Matters. That's 833 Now Matters. Get help today. It is possible. It does exist. And whatever you think is a barrier to you getting into treatment, I guarantee you it's temporary, and I guarantee you it's just not as real as you think it is. Anyway, with all that, adios amigos. It's time for a taco. Goodbye.
And that was without even a single drop of rum.
That was awesome.